Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. Today, we have a ton of stuff to cover with a slight focus on XRP. And starting it off, guys, the XRPledger.org has gotten themselves a little bit of an upgrade. The site is looking more beautiful than ever, and I basically made a little bit of a code with myself where I am going to read one proposal or one document on this website every single day at least. Why? Well, I kind of think it's important to understand more and more about crypto as a whole, but also more about the cryptos that I think have longevity and that I think are the quote-unquote best. You guys know I focus quite significantly on XRP, and I find it that I should really enlighten myself more with what exactly is going on in the background so I can actually tell you guys with even more certainty whether or not I think this project is good. Now, of course, I have read a lot of these pages already because I've been doing this for years now. We've covered all of these like pretty damn often, but still, there's a ton of things I haven't ever seen, and that's again why I'm trying to inform myself more and more and more. And one cool thing is that the XRP Ledger Foundation now, I should say the XRPL.org actually now falls under the XRP Ledger Foundation so that it can continue to serve as a repository of information and resources for all things XRP Ledger for the XRPL devs. I think they're taking a little bit of an extra step. We saw Ripple partners with them strategic investments recently here. I'm thinking quite a lot of big stuff is going to be coming in terms of development, specifically because of that NFT proposal and the fact that they're hiring quite a lot of engineers. We'll talk about that in just a second here. I mean, here's one little article from a little while ago. They actually just reposted that on Twitter. They do that quite often. Our engineering team breaks down their approach to building a CI/CD deployment pipeline that leverages Cloud Composer, Airflow, and GitLab. Read about it in our blog. Now, you don't actually need to read about it too much for yourself. We're talking here about the Google Cloud as an example. It's really quite intricate exactly what they're talking about. It's not something you really need to update yourself with too far, but the point being, there's actually so many people building on Ripple / the XRP Ledger. You just don't really see it, nor do you really hear about it, but they're there. Ripple is constantly hiring new engineers. They have a huge team for it in different countries. Don't forget that. It's not a small deal anymore. Ripple is a multi-billion-dollar company. Then another piece of news which you guys have to hear about is that the SEC has filed criminal charges against Binance. However, let's stop right there. One important thing to quickly note is that the SEC is an institution which is in every country. It is the Thailand SEC that has filed criminal charges, not the US SEC. It's a really big mistake. We actually saw a lot of these articles pop up when Nigerian SEC did something of the sort. We saw a lot of these funny articles and people got the wrong picture. There's a really big difference because, of course, every country has their own SEC, as I just said, and so don't get the wrong picture. You guys get it, right? In this specific case here, it's not a good deal, but it's not as bad. If it were to be the U.S., I would be a little bit more sad, but the U.S., of course, has their own respectable Binance.us, so I think that would be a little bit of a different article then, but the SEC has filed a criminal complaint against Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange platform, for illegally operating a digital asset business without a license under the Digital Asset Business Decree. Before taking legal action, the SEC issued a warning letter in April requiring Binance to submit a written explanation for its unauthorized advertisements and posts on its website and Facebook account, soliciting the Thai public and investors to use its services. However, Binance has failed to submit a response within the specified time frame, and, well, violators of Section 26 and 66 of the decree are subject to a prison sentence of 2 to 5 years, fines of 200 to 500,000 baht, and a daily fine not exceeding 10,000 baht for every day during which the violation continues. So, to be honest with you, this money that they might have to pay definitely is not going to make a difference. It's mostly about the jail time that would kind of sting. But then again, because Binance is actually kind of composed with a Byzantine structure over like 50 countries or so, who are exactly going to take in, right? They're going to take in the CEO? Well, you're never going to come in your country anymore, so it's going to be a little bit of a difficult, a little bit of a sticky one if you're going to sue a company like that, or if a company violated that, who are you going to take in? So, I mean, not too much is going to come from that. And here's a little bit of an extra explanation. You can see Some other articles have, however, taken it a little bit better by saying Thai regulators instead of the SEC. But again, people need clicks too, right? And I shared it over on Twitter, and then I quickly came in, like after 1 minute, to address that it's in Thailand and not the US SEC. So yeah. Then I saw this guy over on Twitter, 432 Hertz XRP. He put a Ripple and XRP mentioned twice in official US bill proposal. And this got me hyped up, it got me excited, until I pressed it and quickly saw that this article is from 2 years ago, and that I've actually covered this before in a video, a very, very long while ago. Now, I didn't necessarily cover this article itself, but we covered the subject. So, Ripple XRP was mentioned in relation to cross-border payment system in the proposed bill text. Let's actually quickly open that up. It's on the federalregister.gov, I think. Here we go. Here's what that looks like. Oh, I shoved my chair. It scared me. I thought it was going to fall, break the chair. Okay, the pending action, a document on remittance transfers under the Electronic Fund Transfer Act, is still in discussion until January 2021. The mention was immediately recognized as potentially positive for XRP on social media. Quote, remittance rules are changing, and Ripple and XRP are both mentioned on page 38. Okay, so can we see it here actually? Let me just type in command F XRP. Here we go. The Bureau has continued to monitor the remittance transfer market since the publication of the assessment report. And let's see where the sentence starts. I don't see any start of a sentence for a very long while here. Holy smokes. It seems like it's all one sentence. Well, it might literally be. Or I'm a little bit blind. Whatever, we'll start from here. Okay, let's just read the whole thing. The Bureau has continued to monitor the remittance transfer market since the publication of the assessment report and observes that most of these developments continue to progress. Examples include the continued growth and expanding functionality of the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications, or SWIFT, as a global payment innovation, GPI tracking product, which can increase the amount of upfront information available to sending institutions, and the expansion of the major payment card network's capacity to support cross-border payments. 2. The continued growth of the fintech non-bank remittance transfer providers and their further expansion into partnerships and other relationships with banks and credit unions, which allow such entities to tap into the closed network payment systems that non-bank remittance transfer providers have developed. And 3, the continued growth and expanding partnerships of virtual currency companies such as Ripple, which offer both a payments messaging platform to support cross-border money transfers, as well as a proprietary virtual currency, XRP, which can be used to affect settlement of those transfers. Okay, that one is actually not that important. They just, in a really brief way, mentioned and explained XRP/Ripple, but it wasn't too intricate nor too difficult or anything like that. Let's actually check the footnote here. They're talking about 59. They link here 2 parts. One is a previous publication on fintechfutures.com 2019. PNC becomes first U.S. bank on RippleNet. And also the press release on the Ripple website itself. Ripple announced a strategic partnership with money transfer giant MoneyGram, which of course is now, changed a little bit, but we still get the idea. So even though it's not that relevant anymore, it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal if you start to think about it. By the way, XRP stagnated to a lower range of 21 cents as of this point. It's pretty funny to me as well sometimes when the prices were just so low. And I remember making my videos sometimes saying, it's pretty lucky that we can get 4 XRP for $1. And right now we are back at, 65 cents or so? Which again is still ridiculously low if you were to ask me for the quote-unquote true value that the crypto should have. But again, that's just my opinion. The bill suggests Ripple network may work alongside SWIFT. The continued growth and expansion, yeah, we just read that. I mean, you guys get it, though, from a certain perspective as well. SWIFT will be around for a very long while, and as of this point, all we can do is start to think about and kind of speculate what part Ripple will take in the bigger scheme of things. Of course, we know as well that we can't all of a sudden expect Ripple to take over 100% of things. Now, they're going to have to start out with small parts first, work alongside SWIFT and stuff like that, and then work their way up. All right. XRP lawsuit update. Here's what juicy details does Ripple's latest salvo have. Well, to be honest with you guys, I've covered every single important part, so don't worry about it. if you've been watching my videos for the last couple of weeks, and specifically the last 2 days, you most likely know everything you need to know. And to kind of summarize that, William Bill Hinman is most likely going to be deposed, which means that Ripple can question him, and there's a good chance that the SEC will have an objection to some of the questions, but we shall see. As of this point, Ripple just responded saying there's no reason why we can't interview him, and so by kind of comparing all those things, I think the chance of an interview is ridiculously high, officially called deposition. I also, however, would like to add that I do, again, want to state that there might be a settlement at one point or another here. The SEC has been putting up so many different roadblocks for Ripple to just kind of get to normal questions. Literally what Ripple has been doing for the last couple of weeks here, at least in the public eye, is just getting information that normal market participants should have. For example, William Hinman's speech. Was it financial advice? Was it not financial advice? Should we take it with any directive narrative, or was it just a speech that has no purpose whatsoever? Why am I saying that? Well, because a speech coming from an SEC head is supposed to mean something, right? Him putting up his own opinion without us having to kind of use it in any way, shape, or form, what exactly is that going to do for us? Because he's an important guy, we would assume that whatever he says is kind of the stance that the SEC has, or is the stance that we should kind of follow as guidelines to distinguish what an ICO is and what an SEC properly regulated crypto would look like. You guys get the picture, right? What will fall into what category? Now, that would be logical. William Hinman, however, and the SEC are kind of stating that, well, all he said is just his own opinion, and in no way, shape, or form does it have any relevance in the real world. So what that would conclude is that whatever the SEC has ever made public, it doesn't really matter, right? So whatever they put up there, you can't really do anything with that, and that puts me to a difficult predicament, which is so what exactly is the SEC stance on crypto, and what exactly should we think, and how exactly do we know if a certain crypto is a security, if the big speech on ICOs as well in 2018 is not even relevant for it? I mean, I just find it difficult for myself to exactly figure out when exactly something is and isn't a security in this cryptocurrency space. And I personally think Ripple's just been trying to find that out most of the time here by looking for the documents related to Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP. That was a good part of what they're doing, just figuring out exactly what is and what isn't allowed and what the SEC knew but didn't give to the public. So over the next couple of months, though, we will find out more. I guess Ripple, of course, can't provide all the info straight to the bat either. They need to get it first, then move to summary judgment, then put those things up. But we'll see, guys. I mean, it's all rapidly closing in, mostly as well because the SEC just has to make some choices, either a settlement or sue some more companies or something along those lines. And other companies, now that we've heard about Ethereum's status being questioned, might push a little bit more for Ripple's win, or at least push a little bit more into Ripple's direction. Things are just starting to kind of heat up a little bit because the necessity is there and the pressure is there of this taking all too long, and knowing that whatever's going to happen out of this lawsuit is going to set the precedent for every single lawsuit coming forward. Then demand for Bitcoin is drying up at a disturbing rate, and Ethereum is rapidly catching up. This is actually not completely true. Here it is, the number of active addresses. Well, I would like to say that Bitcoin, of course, people I think are starting to notice that it's more of a store of value. And if you really want to do stuff, you're going to use Ethereum or XRP or stuff like that. I mean, XRP, obviously, if you really want to transfer money. Ethereum, obviously, if you want to really, run smart contracts or utilize them or, work with something akin to that. I mean, Bitcoin is really not like you don't really have to transfer Bitcoin ever. So if you're asking number of active addresses, if that's going down, it really doesn't say too much about it, though. It just says something about the use, potentially, not necessarily about the demand itself. So the country just lost its only chance of becoming the world's largest Bitcoin producer. What I'm thinking here is actually talking about China, because one of the biggest mistakes China has made right now is actually banning all this crypto stuff, to be honest with you. They could have been the spearhead of all the crypto revolution talk and whatever, but they weren't the first to do anything. They aren't really accepting it. They are really kind of hesitant towards it. I guess they're the first to properly get into a Cbdc, because that one is really one of the furthest ones out there. But I think they just made a big mistake by getting all this crypto stuff to move out. Maybe they expected all those miners to just quit altogether, but no, they just moved over a little bit. I don't know, but that might sting them in the next couple of years. We'll see. Something to kind of think about. You don't need to read the full article. It's something to just think about that China left out on this. Then a little short story, not going to go too far into this. Faze Clan drops 1 member, suspends 3 after alleged cryptocurrency scam. You might have thought from the title just now, the first part, like, what are you doing? You're talking about gamers on this channel? What's going on? Well, these guys actually scammed, quote unquote scam, because it's allegedly the followers basically. So he's been kicked off from the team. It says right here in a really, really popular tweet. I was there when they tweeted. I saw it instantly. And I was already up to date because I already saw the scam move on for a little bit. And basically, they had this really shitty coin that they were promoting. And I also said, guys, don't buy shit coins. Please, please, please don't. Be careful with those. They had a shit coin that they were promoting, and they're basically alleged to have bought and sold, or basically just dumped the coins on the followers. And of course, you can't really prove it, but people are going back and forth on the internet right now of explaining how bad of a guy he is, and they found his wallets and whatnot. All I'm saying about the situation is, guys, don't buy into shitcoins just because somebody told you so. And yeah, that's basically it. And then last but not least, Fed chair met with the Coinbase met with the Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong and former House Speaker in May. Nothing really too significant here either. Armstrong said he spoke about China's central bank digital currency with lawmakers and heads of federal agencies, believing it to be a threat to the U.S. reserve currency status long term. Well, I mean, he's having talks there. He's the Coinbase CEO. He's a big guy, bald guy. But to be honest with you, if he's talked with all of those people, what's it going to matter, right? It's the same thing as Ripple or Donnell Dixon from Stellar talk with these guys. They know their stuff. But to be honest with you, it's still all about the decisions. You may discuss as much as you want to do with any really high up politician. Doesn't mean anything in this world is going to change. So to be honest with you, those talks are just kind of nice to just know and see the connections that are being made, and the fact that they are talking about it and are not afraid to ask for help or put up the discussion. But to be honest with you, it doesn't really show you anything in terms of what type of changes are going to be made or whether or not they're actually worried. He says they talked about the threat of the Chinese CBDC, yet in the end of things, do we know now how serious they took it? No. Do we know now whether or not they'll move against something or put up any new strategy for it? No. It just says here, at the time, Armstrong said he had voiced his opinions about the CBDC in China as a threat to U.S. reserve currency status, and that it would be bad if the U.S. doesn't move quickly to create their own. But again, you don't know if it really had any effect whatsoever. This was May 14th, I believe, when he at least wrote that he had a conversation. A little more than a week later, Powell announced the Fed would be moving forward with research to implement a CBDC, but that's also maybe a coincidence to a certain degree because, well, think about it, they were moving forward with it anyway. He just announced it, so I'm not sure. Whatever, guys. Just make sure you keep in your head the Chinese CBDC might be a little bit more of a debacle than you might think just now. It can be a really, really big U.S. versus China war yet again. Maybe Russia's going to step in there again, do some crazy stuff too. Maybe Europe is this time around going to also put a little head upwards. Let's just see. Let's just wait it out. But that's the news for today. A lot of stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed it though. And let me know, guys. Would you like the more energetic, the more ecstatic and more funny stuff, or just like really serious like this and just get the point across without much side notes? Let me know down below. I just tried something different right now, and tomorrow I'll just go off of your feedback to see what I should do.